However, this race is not over, as the Rangers have some important games coming up. After a 3-game set of the Ghost of the Angels, the season will ultimately be decided when the Rangers face the Mariners for 4 games to close out the season. Fortunately, the Rangers are very close to locking things up and don't have to necessarily be perfect over the next week and a half to lock this up. Are you looking for last-minute tickets to the hottest sports, music, and theater events in over 60 cities? Look no further than Game Time. Their app guarantees the best deals on tickets with CPU photos and clear, competitive pricing. Plus, Game Time Guarantee ensures that your ticket will be on time and authentic. Guaranteed. And if you find a lower price elsewhere, they'll make up 110% of the difference. Made for mobile, Game Time is your go-to app for last-minute tickets. Download today and never miss out on an event again. Just use the link in the description and you can support the show. Welcome to the Talking Texas Rangers podcast. I'm your host, Larry Leeds. In today's episode, we're diving into the latest headlines from around Globe Life Field. But of course, before we do that, we'd like to remind you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, TikTok, and Instagram. Just search Talking Texas Rangers. But of course, give us a thumbs up if you like our video, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive into today's weekly report. If you remember last week's weekly report, I mentioned that the Rangers' playoff and division title hopes were hanging by a thread. Well, after the results that transpired over the last week, the Rangers are back in first place in the American League West and in control of their playoff hopes. I'm sure I can speak for most Ranger fans that this was the most nerve-wracking series of the season. While the Mariners looking to sneak into a wild card spot, people were literally on the edge of their seats at Globe Life Field this past weekend. You could probably hear a pin drop with every pitch. However, the Rangers were the ones victorious in the series. Against the Mariners, there were a lot of contributors from the Rangers that won this series. They received production from Adolis Garcia, Evan Carter, Corey Seager, Leody Taveras, and Marcus Semien. Let's also not forget the pitching performances that the Rangers got as well. Jordan Montgomery is probably the most memorable performance from this weekend. 7 innings, Montgomery only allowed 5 hits, 2 walks, and struck out 6 batters on Saturday. Jose Leclerc was the most reliable pitcher in the bullpen this weekend. He struck out 4 batters and only allowed 2 hits and 2 outings this past weekend. You could tell from everyone on the Rangers that they want to play some more baseball in October. The Rangers weren't the only team that had success this past week. Round Rock finished the second half of their season as the Pacific Coast League champions. This earns them a spot in the AAA playoffs as they take on the Oklahoma City Dodgers on Tuesday. It was Round Rock Express manager Doug Davis's birthday, and he got serenaded by the team during the celebration. Jack Leiter also made his debut for the Round Rock Express Saturday night during the final series of the regular season. It was probably not the AAA debut that he wanted, as he allowed 8 hits, gave up 2 home runs, and allowed 3 earned runs in 3 innings pitched. Luckily, the Express's offense bailed him out as it would go on to win 12-10 over the Rainiers. Wyatt Langford also had a good week, playing as well for the Express. His ability to be patient at the plate shows how good he is going to be in the major leagues. He's been on a little streak of multi-hit games with the Express against Tacoma. He finished the week with 7 hits and scored 4 runs to help the Express make the playoffs. If you look down at the tweet below, which we've included here, Ranger fans can wait to see a possible lineup with Semien, Seager, and Langford, top of the batting order. Langford will be a big part of the Rangers' future, could be as soon as the next season. There really isn't much to talk about other than the final week of the season. The Rangers cannot afford to get into another bad slump as it could spell the end of their playoff hopes. The Rangers go out on the field and do what they did against the Mariners, they could end up winning the division and securing a playoff spot. They have worked so hard to get to this point and deserve to play some more baseball next month. Just depends which version of the Rangers shows up. Right now, they're wrapping up a series against the Angels, and then they will be away against the Mariners tomorrow, October 1st. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Give us any information we missed or should have included. And of course, we want to hear what you think about the Rangers' overall performance this season. Now, without further ado, on to our next topic. Texas Rangers' 900-run season is still attainable, heading out west in search of AL West title and more. With 1 week left in the regular season, the Rangers have regained their grip on the AL West. As they head out west, the team has a milestone number that is within their reach. What a difference a few days can make. Entering play on Friday night, the Rangers were scratching and clawing, attempting to keep themselves in the playoff picture in the American League. Thanks to a sweep of the Seattle Mariners in front of a crowd at Globe Life Field, plus an even more surprising sweep of the Houston Astros at the shocking hands of Kansas City Royals, the Rangers now have a firm grasp on the AL West. But as anyone who has followed this Texas club this year, nothing is certain until it is in the books. Speaking of in the books, this Rangers club has a chance to do something that has only been done 4 times in franchise history. Scored 900 or more runs in the regular season. Early on, the team was on pace to shatter the run scored record of 945 set by the 1999 team, but some offensive woes over the last few months have slowed the pace of runs. Currently, the Rangers sit at 860 runs scored through 155 games played. That is an average of 5.55 runs per game. Texas will need to average 5.71 runs per game over their last 7 games of the season to hit the milestone number of 900. Currently, the 2001 squad holds the 5th place spot with 890 runs scored. 4th place belongs to the 2008 club with 901 runs. Reaching 900 runs is not a goal for the Rangers. Their goal is to make the playoffs and win the AL West. But if they're able to hit the 900-plus mark, that would be a sweet byproduct of a great season. The Rangers face off against the Angels this week. The game at 8:38 Central Time, with a probable pitcher being Dane Dunning and Angels pitcher Griffin Canning. The Angels would like nothing better to play spoiler, as the Rangers desperately want to make the playoffs and win the division. If Texas is looking for an example of a team playing spoiler, they only need to look at the Royals, as they have taken 5 out of 6 games against the Astros over their last 9 games played. The Rangers will stay on the West Coast all week as they finish up their 2023 regular season. After the series with the Angels, the team will head north to take on the Seattle Mariners for the final 4 games of the year, starting on Thursday. Playoff baseball doesn't officially start until next week, and the Rangers haven't punched their ticket quite yet. But these games are as close to a playoff feel as they come without being the real thing. We'll have to stay up a little later to witness them, but how exciting to be battling for the division with a week to go. Texas Rangers have battled back and are now on the verge of winning the AL West. It's been a whirlwind of a regular season for the Rangers. It wasn't that long ago that it looked like Texas was collapsing in front of our eyes in August and early September. However, after a 5-game winning streak and some help from the floundering Astros, the Rangers have a 2.5 game lead in the AL West and are closing in on clinching the division title. But I should say, by the time we're watching this, that lead will probably jump. However, this race is not over, as the Rangers have some important games coming up. After a 3-game set at the Angels, the season will ultimately be decided when the Rangers face the Mariners for 4 games to close out the season. Fortunately, the Rangers are very close to locking things up and don't have to necessarily be perfect over the next week and a half to lock this thing up. While there are a lot of playoff scenarios still in place, the Rangers, as we enter the final 7 games of the regular season, we do know for certain Texas's magic number to win the AL West currently sits at 5 over Seattle and Houston. Importantly, the Rangers do not hold a tiebreaker over Houston, as they lost the season series, but would win a tie against Seattle regardless of how the final series of the season goes. All things considered, the Rangers would much prefer the Mariners be in second place going into that final series, so it would essentially give Texas another game in hand. As for the Rangers' playoff odds, they are in tremendous shape. Fangraphs currently has the Rangers 82.8% chance of winning the AL West and a 97% chance of making the playoffs. Baseball Reference is a little more cautious about the Rangers' chances, but only slightly, as their engine gives Texas a 98% chance of making the playoffs and 79.9% chance of winning the division. It is remarkable that the Rangers have been able to salvage their season after that awful slump they were in. Hopefully over the next few games they will continue to trim their magic number down some more so that it isn't too much drama. Final showdown against the Mariners. 2023 season was at its darkest point earlier this month, and they needed someone to step in and save the season. The complete story of the 2023 season for the Rangers is yet to be written. The final chapter is in the process of being played out. Texas is in a position to win the division for the first time since 2016 and become the first team to beat out Houston in a 162-game season for the AL West title since 2017. This final chapter has had many ups and downs. The season was truly on the brink after Houston came to Arlington and swept the Rangers in a series that was not very close. Houston took the lead midway through the first game and did not trail at any point the rest of the series. Houston left town not only with the tiebreaker in hand, but also with a 3-game lead in the division over the Rangers. Texas was left for dead by all the experts, and rightfully so. Texas was in a stretch that saw them lose 15-19. The offense was struggling to score runs outside of home runs. The pitching, both in rotation and in the bullpen, struggled to have any success at all. This team appeared to be playing with little to no energy nightly. Adolis Garcia went down with an injury in the final game against Houston. In hindsight, this movie quote is appropriate for the moment.
The night is darkest just before the dawn. And I promise you, the dawn is coming.
Feelings around the fan base were very dark. There was not a lot of hope or optimism surrounding the team. The team needed a hero. They needed someone with youthful energy. They needed someone who could provide hope. In stepped top prospect Evan Carter. Carter was brought up to replace Garcia, who was placed on the IL with a strained patellar tendon. No one had any idea what to expect. It was known that Carter was certainly talented enough to be a major leaguer. That much was seen in spring training, how he produced this season. Was he ready for the moment? Could he seemingly produce in such a high-pressure situation? The question to each of these questions has been answered with a resounding yes. He has been everything this team has needed and more. The reputation Carter had coming up through the minors was one of a batter who was extremely patient at the plate. He had some power, but relied more on driving the ball into the gaps. He was an elite base runner and defender. I even previously said that he was a stat sheet stuffer. He filled up nearly every statistical category. The abilities he has shown in the minors have translated to the majors. Carter is still drawing walks. He's still getting base hits. He's stealing bases, and he's scoring runs. One talent that has been better than expected is his power. He has 4 home runs in 16 games. He only had 13 in the entire minor league season, that he played. That has been a revelation for the young star, as his home run on Sunday shows.
They've turned that around. They're now in first place, and this ball's hit well. Deep out to right. Evan Carter has done it again! A 2-run shot! Maybe he is the savior.
And how cool is it for that kid who's got that baseball right now? Let's be honest. 2 kids here. One ended up with the baseball, and one hit the...
When Carter arrived, Texas had lost 15-19 and then proceeded to lose his debut against the Oakland A's to make it 16 of 20. They proceeded to win the next day and are 11-5 overall since his debut. It is unknown how much Carter has had to do with this stretch, but he has done several things to help during this turnaround. He has played terrific defense in both the left and center field. He's provided great at-bats from the 9-hole in the order and given Semien and Seager opportunities to drive him in. Carter has been the small ball weapon that this team was missing. In the game against the Mariners on September 22nd, Carter drew a walk, stole second, moved to third on a Corey Seager single, and scored on a Nathaniel Lowe ground out. That has happened on a few occasions since his arrival, He makes it easier for their team to score runs. The numbers back that up. Carter has started and received at-bats in 16 games. He has reached base in all 16 games. Texas is averaging 6.3 runs per game in which he has started. They have reached 7 or more runs in 7 of the 15 games he has played. His individual numbers are just as impressive as the team numbers. Carter, in 16 games, has a .326 batting average, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 9 walks, 3 stolen bases, and 13 runs scored. He's performed well above anyone's expectations. Every hero's tale, though, does take a villainous turn at some point. Dark Knight says it best when it says that a person can either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Eventually, Carter will go through a cold stretch. Baseball is a game of failure. The playoffs are a completely different beast to slay. For now, Carter is the hero the Texas Rangers needed. He has come along just the perfect time to potentially help the team win the AL West and slay the beast that is the Houston Astros. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think of Evan Carter's performance? And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TTRangers. Your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, bring in new hosts, be able to pay them, and hopefully one day take the show on the road and record from Rangers away games. And as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to subscribe on Good Pods or wherever you find your podcast platform. And we'll see you next time.